We are now in the Chewong community up on the Bukit Chengau, which is part of the Bukit Lancha Forest Reserve on the edge of the Kelau Game Reserve. And this is way above sea level, way above the height of the dam which is supposed to be built for Kelau. As the Chewong said, if this place is flooded or will be flooded, then towns like Karak, Bentong and even KL will be flooded also. It's a very small community, about 7 families here, but they belong to the bigger Chewong community in the Kelau Game Reserve on the Sungai Teris and inside the Kelau Game Reserve at Senel and Baik and so on. Even though these people will not be affected by the dam, and even though even the Temuans who are affected by so-called, who will be asked to resettle because of the dam, their village will not be impounded, the Chewong here are required to resettle together with the Temuans purely for administrative reasons, because as far as the government, as far as the authorities are concerned, this community comes under the headmanship of the Chewong, of the Temuan community in Sungai Tame, and that's why they want them also to move. The Chewong and the Temuans are 2 completely different ethnic groups, subgroups of Orang Asli. One is Austronesian speaking, one is Austro-Asiatic speaking, and they are way far apart in terms of culture and history. The Chewong and Temuans have never lived together. The only reason why this community is under the headmanship of the Temuan headman is simply because it so happens that this particular area falls into the Raub district, and JOA communally puts them all under one administrative entity. Well, the Temuan is the main Orang Asli community here, which is much lower in altitude from here, and although their village will not be impounded by the dam, they are required also to resettle to a new site in Lura Bilut, about 40 kilometers from here. The usual promises, no? But many of them do not want to move at one time, almost 75%. Now they say they all have agreed to move for the compensation and so on. But I have my doubts about it, but that is the choice of the Temuan. But these people here, the Chewong, definitely do not want to move, definitely have not been consulted as to whether they have a choice or not, and definitely have not been informed of their plans for relocation and so on directly from the government. I don't think they're getting a good deal because one, they do not have to move. Whatever they leave behind will become valuable property because they'll have frontage to the dam, and because the areas will not be impounded, inundated, they can still reside in the old territory, gain benefits from the new value of attributed to the land, and enjoy the traditional rights they had to their resources, whether they own crops, whether they are forest resources, or basically their own traditional land. The same thing happened in KKB Dam, the Sungai Selangor Dam. The Orang Asli in Pratak were also required to move despite the fact that their village will not be inundated. We protested, many other NGOs groups protested. The people are still there now. They got better houses, they still have access to the traditional resources, and guess who's their neighbor is? The Sultan of Selangor. So it just goes to show that they are being asked to move not because of the impoundment of the dam, inundation of the dam, but because they want to free the land for somebody else to occupy later when the land is more expensive. Well, the Chewong do not have to move because they are not in any way affected by the dam, proposed dam. In fact, they want to remain here where they claim as a traditional land, and there's no problem because nobody else is claiming it. If they really have to move, they say, put them back into together with their own community in the Teris, along the Teris River or in the Kelau Game Reserve. But no way do they want to be resettled. This is a choice they make. It's not a choice imposed by anybody else, but unfortunately, they are not being given the choice, let alone information about the proposed plans for them.